Hey, peace everyone. This is Illmatical, broadcasting live from Vietnam. Alright, so I thought I would remake a video I had made a few weeks ago called Black in Cambodia. The reason I did that, I wanted to remake that video was I was sick at the time and I'm hacking and coughing. So this video basically is for people who are African, African American, Caribbean, African people who are thinking about going to Cambodia or maybe already there, and interested in the mentality of some of the modern day Cambodians. Now, one of the benefits of traveling and living abroad is, as I have been living abroad, I have found that reading, even if it's like a small Lonely Planet guide to a country, understanding the history of a country within the last 1,000 years can definitely help you understand the mentality of the people. So, the Cambodians, the Khmer people, the people who built the Angkor Wat, the majestic temples of Angkor Wat, what color were they? Alright, so when you go to Angkor Wat, you will visibly see inscribings on the wall. Now, the Khmer people who built the temples, they didn't keep anything written down. All the documentation was destroyed. It was written on paper. What they did do is they wrote on the temples, and when you go there, of course, you visibly see engravings, people with dark skin on the walls. Visibly, like these are like their soldiers and so forth. They had black skin. Now, there's a book by John Tully. It's called The Short History of Cambodia, and on page 10 he says that during the Qing Dynasty, when the Chinese came, they called the Khmers ugly. Well, they weren't Khmer then. The Funan or this was pre-Khmer, pre-Cambodian, traditional Cambodian. They were ugly, black, and fuzzy haired. So whether they were ugly or not, I don't know. But they were black and fuzzy haired. So now, where this gets interesting is this. The temples of Angkor Wat are aligned to several constellations. The temples of Angkor Wat are aligned to several constellations. Now, this is interesting because the pyramids are also aligned to constellations. So this is not some random accident. So definitely there were Africoid people involved in the building of the structures in Cambodia and in Egypt. This is not, it's called, check out the temples in Angkor Wat and their alignment. I think one is aligned to Draco. Okay, so the modern day Cambodian people who've been here the last 2,000 years, like I said, now the Funan people, the people who are like the original Khmer people, the Aboriginal Khmers, they did trading with the Indians, not Indian, people from India, as early as 1st century Common Era, and Chinese came later. So you're dealing now the modern day Khmer. When you're walking down the street and you look at them, you visibly can see people that are visibly, related to Chinese or Indian. They're a mixture of the two. And during that, 2,000 years, of course, they created their own culture. So now, do you see any other remnants of the original Black Khmers, the Cambodians? There's a video online where a brother went out to Angkor Wat. He's actually filming with his tour guide, and his tour guide is telling him like a lot of the Black Khmer, the Aboriginal Khmer, they were killed during the Pol Pot regime. I don't know if that's necessarily true or not. What I do know is this: it can be true. Hopefully, you're somewhat familiar with Pol Pot, the Khmer Rouge, and millions and millions of people that were killed during that horrific horrific time period when Pol Pot was in power. So, how does this formulate the mentality of modern day Cambodians? They do not like dark skin. They don't like it amongst themselves. And you're dealing with two cultures that really have disdain for dark skin. One is Chinese and one is Indian. Indian, of course, you should somewhat be familiar with the caste system. But right now, this is another being Chinese. Within both cultures, especially within Cambodia, during the last several hundred years, and this is Southeast Asia as a whole, I think, even like Vietnam, where I'm at right now, people who traditionally were poor would be the ones who work out in the sun, and they would get darker skin. So there is a negative connotation associated with dark skin automatically. Now, they're being exposed. Now, does this mean that you can't go to Cambodia and have a good relations with them? No, I'm going to, in another video series I'm entitled Cambodia, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, I'm going to break down some things about the Cambodian people and their mentality. So, Cambodians, in terms of dark-skinned people, again, they have a tolerance for you. It's not something that is coveted. It's not something that's appreciated. They really have a disdain for darker skin. Like, for instance, okay, like, look at my skin color. Like, I like, beautiful women, my complexion, maybe a little bit lighter, any woman is beautiful. I saw some beautiful women who had darker skin, and usually they were very poor. And another thing that I thought was kind of odd, in terms of like Afro-Colored features and so forth, I saw more Cambodian women who could pass for sisters than I did with men. I don't know what it was, but I would see there were plenty of Cambodian women I saw who could easily pass for sisters. Easily. Especially when I was further out in the provinces. So, in terms of, coming and living in Cambodia, like I said, I'm going to address this in another video, the good, the bad, and the ugly, but again, they have, they don't appreciate darker skin. For instance, like, let's say, I know this is going to sound crazy, let's say there's a woman in my complexion, she's getting married. For her wedding, this is a part of their culture, for her wedding, she's going to paint her face white. So, I mean, you can look this up, like, look at Cambodian weddings, and you see the picture of the women, like, they like, put in, like, white makeup on their face, just so that, and it looks disgusting to me, but it doesn't mean that they're bad, just, it's not what I want, if that's your natural color, then, fine, but in any event, we'll address the country as a whole, I think in the next video, Cambodia, the good, bad, and the ugly, alright?